Welcome back to Sapien, the channel for in-depth breakdowns of the most disruptive technology that's challenging the economic, political and social systems of the world. For today's installment, I've made many videos covering the development of Lenfi on this channel, but this episode is probably going to be the most important one to date. Many people have questioned my motives for supporting Lenfi during what is the most difficult period for the project and community, but I say to you, do you only support projects in the good times? Some question if my only motivation is to pump the Lenfi price. Show me a human that holds crypto who doesn't want the price to appreciate, and show me a single piece of evidence where I've hyped the token despite having numerous opportunities to do so. The difference here is I have receipts, a long history of covering the project's entire development on my channel, solely focusing on nothing more but the innovative tech and ecosystem development contribution of what is Cardano's first and truly OG lending and borrowing protocol. I'm making this video because of what's at stake here, the future of an open source battle-tested pure peer-to-peer lending platform, a big Cardano sub-community and a project that has undeniably played a significant role in the growth of Cardano DeFi from the very beginnings of smart contract functionality. I've contributed to driving users and growing the communities surrounding Lenfi, and most of all I'm an active user myself. So if you want the facts, do I want Lenfi as a token to appreciate? Of course I do, both personally and for the power it provides the DAO. But do I want Lenfi to succeed because it's an innovative protocol that provides utility on Cardano that I personally benefit from and use frequently? Yes, most definitely. Do I want it to succeed for the great people that make up its community, many of which I know personally? 100% I do. So now we've got that out of the way and established the many reasons I want this project to succeed. This video will break down events stemming back from the discovery of the V2 pooled lending vulnerability in December, recap what's happened since then, and crucially, run through all the details surrounding a hugely significant community-led initiative that aims to decentralize the Lenfi DAO. For the first time, this will place the Lenfi community in a position of true autonomy to guide the future direction of the protocol. Furthermore, should the community vote yes on what we're about to break down, then I personally will be committed to playing a role in the Lenfi DAO. So let's get straight into it. First though, we need to separate fact from fiction and break down what's really been going on with Lenfi, and for this we need to go back to December. Don't worry, I'll get through the timeline to the present day as quickly as possible. This will not only bring you up to speed but demonstrate the significance of this governance proposal. On December 11th, the Lenfi team made this announcement encouraging the repayment of loans on the V2 pooled lending protocol in anticipation for potential protocol safety measures to be carried out. The following day, on December 12th, I co-hosted an X-Space with Mantas and Lucas arranged by the Lenfi team to clarify the protocol status with the community. Mantas explained at this point that the team had discovered a bug or vulnerability in the V2 smart contract code that, if exploited, could have affected user funds. The discovery of such a bug, despite having multiple audits completed with reputable Cardano dev auditing firms in Anastasia Labs and TX Pipe, along with the open source code and long-standing bug bounty program, is actually a testament to the Lenfi team's diligence in continuously reviewing their code post-launch and commitment to maintaining the highest security guarantees. December 13th, Lenfi posted this update to clarify events and the next steps to be taken. Whilst encouraging users to repay their loans was successful, the remaining funds left in the protocol for lenders' deposits to the pools were white-hacked and stored in a Lenfi white-hacked wallet. The team had to act fast and effectively exploit the vulnerability because Lenfi is a decentralized open source protocol that doesn't have a backdoor where they can just access user funds. After white hacking the remaining funds through the discovered exploit to ensure bad actors were unable to compromise the pools, a smart contract was prepared where affected users could reclaim their funds. December 20th, the team announced that the Lenfi V2 smart contracts were made available again to view on GitHub, as they were temporarily hidden to prevent potential exploiting of the code. For further transparency, Lenfi also posted the fixed V2 vulnerability linked in this public repo. I've also linked this in the description for your reference. Now, initially the team quoted a 1 to 2 week timeline for the relaunch of the V2 lending pools. However, in January, through the official Telegram and Discord channels, the team notified the community that more technical requirements developments have arisen than first expected, meaning more time will be needed to properly relaunch the V2 lending protocol. On February 11th, this update from Mantis was shared in the Telegram, Discord and reposted on X, confirming that the update is taking longer than expected due to two key environment changes in Plutus V3 after the Cardano hard fork and Aiken language updates. Further to this, the team emphasized their commitment to safety, focusing on the isolated code changes. This was intended to save time and money so they could avoid further audits. At this point, Mantis explained that he hoped to be able to share a timeline the following week, since most of the changes should be completed by that time. Now it's from this point where things started to become a little less clear, as the team stopped directly engaging on development topics surrounding V2 with the community. While they continued posting on X surrounding the V1 protocol, governance actions and general Lenfi Cardano DeFi content, communication regarding actual protocol development was only communicated via the community manager Neo, who was consistently advised by the team that they were working hard on development and would announce when they had more tangible and impactful updates to share. This remains a point of contention, many rightfully calling the lack of direct team communication irresponsible and lacking the level of accountability and transparency we have been accustomed to throughout the project's entire lifespan. Speaking for myself, in earlier months post-vulnerability, the team's lack of communication didn't really faze me, as they were never really the types to overhype, overpromise or over-communicate, and the trust they have built through the years of development and delivery left me with no reason to doubt them. Further solidifying this thought process was the fact that the V1 lending and borrowing protocol has remained operational and continuously maintained. In addition, the V2 domain and all other social channels along with the Lenfi DAO wallet and LP positions remained intact and untouched, as they have been throughout the lifespan of the token. In addition, throughout the time the team have chosen not to engage on dev topics, they have continued promoting the use of V1 and processing governance actions for new token listings that required both on-chain voting and developments to update the existing platform. Now, I'm not excusing the silence. I've gone on record on multiple occasions expressing my dissatisfaction towards this, but the silence from Mantis is the unknown. This video is about dealing with the knowns, not speculating, but factual knowns and, even more importantly, action that we as a community can take to push forward. Despite the so-called silence, Neo has had many conversations with Mantis and maintained good communication with the Lenfi community, but from a very difficult position, as he wasn't able to get all the answers and only able to share what Mantis is willing to discuss with him. Most recently, however, Neo has stated Mantis confirmed his intention and commitment to maintain the V1 protocol and help relaunch the V2 pools, which was shared on the Telegram and Discord. With that said, Mantis is still yet to communicate the status of V2 development directly, and for whatever reason, Mantis is maintaining his position or decision to remain silent in this respect. In recent weeks, Mantis has also spoke of an NDA, however, as expected, due to the nature of a non-disclosure agreement, the details are unclear. Lots of speculation, but nothing concrete. We also had Charles weigh in, supposedly putting his team on the case to understand what's happening with Lenfi. We are to believe that JJ has had contact with the Lenfi team. Charles also confirmed this in a recent AMA. However, I wouldn't read too much into this, as Charles isn't really on the very pulse of this situation and is relying on feedback from JJ. In this latest public communication, JJ seemed to be deflecting the Lenfi community to go to the main Telegram and join the conversation there, as this is where the majority of the Lenfi community discussion is taking place. This feels like he has distanced himself from the situation, which is fine, because the future of Lenfi will not be defined by Charles, JJ or IOG. So that summarizes the events from the V2 vulnerability discovery leading us up until this current point in time. The facts are, we have the V1 protocol fully operational and being maintained, with active lending and borrowing taking place daily. We have the Lenfi DAO funds and LP positions that remain intact. We have a commitment from Mantis via Neo to continue maintaining the V1 in addition to the relaunch of the V2 lending pools, but with no direct team communication surrounding this and/or a development timeline in this respect. And we have evidence of the DAO being honoured and maintained, with recent governance actions and on-chain voting being processed by the Lenfi team. Also, the Lenfi X account is still posting V1 DeFi and Lenfi governance content or updates. The radio silence coupled with all of this has led to the mass confusion, speculation, FUD, and the spread of misinformation amongst the Lenfi and wider Cardano ecosystem. So what is the path forward for Lenfi as a project and community? Is it really in our hands? We are a decentralized finance protocol after all, aren't we? In an initiative led by Neo, the project's long-term community manager, the following temp check proposal has been raised to the community forum, titled Transfer DAO Assets to a multi-sig wallet and custodian. This proposal could well prove pivotal in defining the future of Lenfi, and is in fact something the team have encouraged in the past to mature the governance side of the protocol. So let's break down the proposal itself and understand the potential impact. Currently, the Lenfi DAO treasury and LP tokens are managed by the Lenfi team. The X account branding, domain, GitHub access and other assets are also held by the team under their Lithuanian entity. What is being proposed is the transferring of these assets to a 2 of 4 multi-sig wallet controlled by 4 key holders made up of Lenfi community members, and to arrange the handover of the digital keys or passwords for the associated project accounts to Neo, with the sign-in rights as an interim custodian. The key holders will authorize the transfer of assets to a final decentralized smart contract once a deployment is complete or back to the original team wallet. This transition aims to safeguard the DAO's significant assets, including the substantial liquidity position, while empowering the community to shape Lenfi's future, aligning with the DAO's commitment to transparency and decentralization. As emphasized in this proposal, this is not a change to the current team. It is intended for the existing team to continue development, while the DAO gains autonomy to market the V2 relaunch, token and make future decisions as it sees fit for the long-term interest of the protocol. Effectively, this change removes the reliance upon a single key holder to ensure the DAO can become more agile to operate and effect meaningful change or progress for the project's future at the community's wishes, but it goes deeper. The Lenfi X account, the Lenfi.io domain, Lenfi source repositories, and Lenfi branding assets are all currently under the Lenfi team's control. While the team has managed these assets responsibly, this centralized structure introduces potential risks that could be mitigated through a more secure and decentralized approach. By moving control away from the team, especially if the DAO gains its own personhood through a Wyoming or Japanese DAO LLC as is being proposed, the protocol can operate with less personal risk to the current team or core contributors. This is particularly relevant with Lithuania's adoption and future enforcement of the markets in crypto assets regulations. Furthermore, as the team is personally the ultimate beneficial owner of the Lenfi related assets, any personal legal risk could impact the protocol operations, as these may be seized. Important to note, there are no known legal issues. It's more progressive steps to prevent such issues arising in the future. The proposal's focus is to remove this single point of dependency and further decentralize the DAO's ability to more effectively and efficiently operate. A Wyoming setup, for instance, would be ideal because of the fact that the US is increasingly becoming more favorable in terms of the laws surrounding this type of operation, and the US has the largest crypto market, presenting great opportunity for further growth. Lenfi would be leading the pack in this respect, as not many Cardano projects will have a Wyoming presence. The estimated cost of 5,000 ADA to handle the paperwork and potentially DAO personhood represents a relatively small fee, and the only cost in this proposal with huge benefits attached. From my understanding, Neo already has commitments from a Cardano ecosystem and community member in the States to help with this process. In its current form, the DAO does have security concerns. Single signature wallets are vulnerable to threats like hacking, phishing, or accidental key loss. The treasury, containing over 120,000 ADA and counting, along with 14.3 million Lenfi tokens and the 350,000 ADA LP position, are at risk if a single key is compromised, potentially disrupting Lenfi's operations, eroding community confidence, and leaving the project with no financial power to continue in a decentralized manner. The team's sole authority also limits community involvement in governance, which goes against the decentralized ethos of DAOs. Community members cannot directly influence decisions about treasury fund spending or LP token management or social media management without the Lenfi team's approval and willingness to cooperate, potentially reducing engagement, trust, and further growth. Decentralizing the DAO control would enable the community to submit and vote on proposals, and if DAO funds are required and it's approved by passing on-chain voting, then through the community-voted multi-sig committee can authorize such transactions and therefore deliver on the community's wishes without any roadblocks and in a timely manner. Ultimately, this gives the community direct access to the DAO funds and LP positions via trustees made up of long-term OG Lenfi community members, enabling the Lenfi community to utilize the treasury funds as they deem necessary. Also, by proposing management and more flexibility surrounding the Lenfi repo, brand assets, X account, and other social channels will empower the community to become more agile in terms of development, growth, and marketing of the Lenfi lending protocol. Relying on the team for asset access creates a dependency that could pose challenges if the team members are or become unavailable due to unforeseen circumstances. This has become even more evident in recent months. A single point of failure in key management could delay or prevent critical transactions, impacting the DAO's agility and ability to operate altogether. Transitioning to a 2 of 4 multi-sig wallet would address these issues by requiring multiple signatures for transactions, distributing control to community-elected key holders, and aligning Lenfi with best practices in Cardano's DeFi ecosystem. This shift would secure the DAO's valuable assets and empower token holders to actively participate in shaping Lenfi's strategic direction, fostering a more resilient and transparent governance model. A 2 of 4 multi-sig requires 2 signatures for any transaction, significantly reducing the risk of unauthorized access, hacks, or key loss. This protects the treasury and the substantial 350,000 ADA LP position, ensuring the DAO's assets remain safe even in adverse scenarios. Having community-elected key holders to distribute control aligns with Lenfi's DAO principles, as transparent, on-chain transactions allow token holders to monitor fund movements, fostering trust and accountability. This transition would actually position Lenfi as a leader in secure DeFi governance, potentially attracting new users and partners in the Cardano ecosystem to join our community and bring value to the project's overall development. The proposed key holders are made up of 4 Lenfi community members and project contributors: Mantis, the founder of Lenfi; Neo, the long-term community manager; myself, Sapien, Lenfi and Cardano community member and video creator; and Micah, a community member, D-Rep and previous software contractor for the Lenfi team. This proposal could and should have been raised a long time ago, considering the team developed the entire protocol without DAO assistance and have always been in favour of a community-run or owned DAO. It's actually on us as a community why this hasn't happened to date. Mantis always wanted the community surrounding Lenfi to step up in terms of the DAO, and we had many chances to do this, but all the real important proposals never really seemed to get the required traction or even materialise in the first place, just discussions. List tokens, yes, but not community-led initiatives like this that aims to push the project even further forwards. So now, despite the unrest in the community and many doubters calling us to give up on this project, this represents a fantastic opportunity to turn Lenfi into the most decentralized community-driven DeFi protocol on Cardano. Let's show Mantis and the rest of the ecosystem that we are here and push participation levels through the roof on this one. Community access to the DAO is the first step. What follows after this is limitless. What gives me even more confidence in this proposal is the fact that Neo confirmed very recently to have discussed the DAO with Mantis, and he expressed his in-principle readiness to transfer the custody of the DAO assets to whoever the DAO approves. His commitment to the DAO can also be evidenced as recently as the 21st of May and 29th of May, where on-chain governance actions have been processed at the community's request, again despite some people's claims of project abandonment. This is a clear indication that Mantis is honouring the DAO and always has done. Now, depending when you are watching this video, initially the proposal is in a temperature check phase to provide an opportunity for community discussion and feedback before voting goes live. This runs from June 10th to June 13th. Then the preliminary off-chain vote will commence June 14th to 19th, where you have 5 days to place your vote on the governance forum. It's at this stage, if the proposal meets the threshold for 100 plus votes, then it will move to on-chain voting via Lenfi token-weighted voting. At this stage, and if approved by token holders, the implementation of such a proposal targets approximately a 6-week turnaround for completion. Now, for anyone who hasn't already, registering to the forum is important as it provides you the platform to create, discuss and vote on proposals. This is where all proposals start before they can move to on-chain voting. It's a real quick and easy process to create an account. Essentially, this is the gateway to contribute to all Lenfi governance proposals. I've linked it in the description. In order to actually vote, you'll need to create an account and start engaging with proposals. This will ensure you pass the bot or spam prevention controls that are in place. Once you are active for more than around 5 minutes and have interacted with at least a few proposals, you will be all set to start contributing to the discussion, vote on proposals, and even raise your own, all in the spirit of helping shape the project's future. Now I urge everyone to go read the proposal in full and participate in what is the project's most pivotal DAO vote to date. So to recap, option 1 proposes transferring the Lenfi treasury in LP tokens to a 2 of 4 multi-sig wallet and arrange the transfer of key assets such as access to Lenfi socials, domain, GitHub repo and brand assets to Neo in trust. Option 2, no action, retaining the treasury, LP tokens, social domains and GitHub under the Lenfi team control, maintaining the existing single signature wallet structure. Ultimately, in its current state, the DAO cannot be truly utilized by the community as a tool to produce meaningful change, progress and development for the protocol. Whilst it currently retains operational simplicity and avoids the need for a multi-sig setup or elections, a community elected committee and a move to a multi-sig DAO is not only delivering on what Mantis originally envisioned for Lenfi, but represents a more progressive step towards true decentralized governance. If it passes, this proposal will make Lenfi one of the most truly decentralized community-powered DeFi protocols on Cardano, if not the most. This kind of move, coupled with its open source nature and Lenfi SDKs, will make it one of the most agile, participatory and accessible DeFi platforms ecosystem-wide. It's this kind of move that will encourage true community participation with tangible outcomes that will be very much in the community's control. This is the way Mantis actually envisioned it from the very beginning. We want nothing more than the original team to commit in collaboration with the community to continue the build out of Lenfi. This I think is evident throughout this proposal and largely measurable by the community sentiment we see online, but we must be proactive in terms of finding a more viable long-term and sustainable solution for the project's future success. Decentralized governance is about picking up a shovel and putting in the work. This proposal is vital to this and will unlock the brainpower of the entire community and provide it with the resources to make the big things happen. Remember, all the important links can be found in the description. I'll be producing a follow-up video once the proposal on voting process is complete. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep it Sapien and keep it Cardano.